Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo Story. It's a political revelation that could shake the foundation of mainstream politics in Jammu and Kashmir. In his new book, former RNAW chief A.S. Dulat makes an explosive claim that shortly after the abrogation of Article 370, Farooq Abdullah, the president of National Conference, was willing to do business with the BJP. Dulat also revealed that he was officially tasked by the Modi government to initiate back-channel talks with the National Conference president while he was under house arrest. And he even goes on to claim that Farooq Abdullah wanted to return as the chief minister just last year, basically in 2024, before the assembly elections were held. Now, these disclosures raise critical questions. Joining us today is Sajjad Lone, the chief of People's Conference. Welcome to Mojo Story, Sajjad Saab. But before I ask you any question, let's play that short sound bite of A.S. Dulat when Barkha that interviewed him. What exactly he said, that what was the business that Farooq Abdullah wanted to do with the BJP after the abrogation of Article 370 when he was under house arrest.
And I can tell you that there was a period, let's say 20 to 23, I wouldn't know the exact dates now, when he was quite willing to do business with the BJP, if it was on reasonable terms. But it didn't happen.
After the abrogation. This is a very big statement. You're saying Farooq was willing to do business with the BJP after the abrogation.
Yeah. There's a certain period I'm talking about, 20 to 23. Then you see what happens. And I'm saying 23 because I think the basic point is that, when Rahul started his Padyatra, then Farooq's mind began to change. He saw a youngster who he felt, could change India. And he had a lot of, this exactly what you're showing now, that hug, which Rahul Gandhi gave him after they walked together.
Sajjad Saab, what do you make of Dulat's claim that Farooq Abdullah was ready to do business with the BJP post-abrogation of Article 370?
Irrespective of what Dulat Saab says, because Dulat Saab is a great fan of Farooq Saab, and he would not do anything willingly, intentionally, to hurt him. What he's saying today, either he will retract it if it hurts Farooq Saab, or it is the launching pad for a future alliance, giving the ideological justification that they had pre-planned it. Irrespective of what Dulat Saab says, I have always said, I have said in interviews in Delhi, that they are in league. It is only, unfortunately, I would say, the so-called secular liberal media in Delhi, of which we all Kashmiris are victims, right from 1987, when they digested, without even a burb, a story as big as rigging of elections in 1987, and allowed it to happen and didn't even report it properly. So this was there. It's not neither is the August 4 meeting with the Honorable Prime Minister a mystery to me.
You mean the meeting before the 370 abrogation? You mean the meeting before the 370 abrogation when Dr. Saab and Umar Abdullah went and met Prime Minister Modi?
That meeting, he comes, that I could see it's theatre. We all knew it's theatre.
You can see on those photos, that's the photo of that meeting that happened.
This is one photo.
Before the 370 abrogation.
Zafar, there is one more, which is not photographed, where the fourth person is not there, where just three of them are there. There is one more, but it's not photographed, where one of them has been taken away, right? And Akbar Lone Saab is not there, incidentally. He was also an MP at that time. So, point is that we all, well, a lot of us knew what has happened. And one thing you have to give to NC, they have perfected the victim card. They know how to play the victim card. Two, they have this huge army of uncles and aunties, of which Dulat Saab is the most important uncle, right? And we know how difficult. I spent my entire life. I don't fight these people here. We have to fight these uncles and aunties, their might, and beat Congress, beat BJP. And let me tell the BJP guys, the biggest failure they had is that the same uncle aunties who were there in Congress, the same uncle aunties there also. It's all a lie. We have changed. They've changed nothing. The uncles and aunties are there. They give the narrative. They give the discourse. They convince everybody. So this whole thing, and why I am, because I was the fall guy. A team, B team, you must have heard it. So they needed a fall guy. They created a villain out of me. And some other people also. They created villains out of them. And while they were having a lovely time, everything was pre-planned. And I will tell you one thing. Elections were fair. But fair elections in Kashmir is a comparative statement. It's not an objective statement.
Right.
And in that context of comparativeness, I would say 2024 perhaps was a prize for services rendered in 2019. And don't ask any more questions. I won't add on it.
Right. But irrespective of what you're saying, Sajjad Saab, the fact is that National Conference came to power with a thumping majority. There was a clean sweep almost in favor of National Conference. Whatever you say, that whatever they must be negotiating with Delhi, or Delhi must be talking with them through the back channel. The fact is that they came to power, they had the people's mandate. That can't be ignored.
But neither can this be ignored, that if people knew that they were willing, that they knew about Abrogation of Article 370, that they had given the green signal, you put your hand on your heart, would they even win even a single seat? They won the whole election on the concept of being being the sole party, which is sort of heartbroken because Article 370 has been abrogated. And one more thing, right through the elections, we were thinking that this BJP, which wins elections across India, do they have such a low IQ that they are issuing a statement after statement against NC? Don't they know that it will help them? Because people in Kashmir are anti-BJP. And when BJP is singularly targeting a party on a daily basis, it's going to help them. We thought they're being, they're being stupid, but they were not being stupid. They were working as per a script. It transpires now that there was a script. Those statements, against NC were meant to create a way for them. This is how you create a wave.
But Sajjad Saab, how will it help the BJP? The National Conference has come to power on its own. How is it, if at all there was a plan to
tell you something.
National Conference with those statements? How would it help the National Conference?
In the context of what Dulat Saab says, there is a total reset. So we'll all have to sit back, and if it's true, which it is, then everything changes. And then these uncles and aunties have a concept of national interest. जनाब ये हमारे साथ तब थे जब कोई नहीं था, जनाब इनको हम नहीं छोड़ सकते हैं. So उस national interest में कुछ भी होता है. All political, all this alienation of Kashmiris has taken place in the name of national interest. Even 87 was done in the name of national interest. And that's why even today, while BJP will question anything about 87, about Congress, they will never question 87. Again, in the name of national interest.
Right. So what you essentially are saying is that any sort of back channel negotiations or a possible outreach by Farooq Abdullah to the BJP was a betrayal of anti-370 sentiment that National Conference publicly projected in the run-up to the assembly elections?
Yeah, of course. I mean, one doesn't need to be a genius. You don't even need to ask this question.
Yeah.
So vehemently, they ran an election campaign that everybody is BJP. That if you are not NC, then you are a BJP, and convinced people. And now it transpires that if there was anybody BJP, it was them. So the whole context changes. The whole context changes. And you have to credit the uncles and aunties. They did it. This curse of uncles and aunties, they brought this havoc upon the people of Kashmir, where they sort of created a set of conditions. Oh, now only this National Conference is the sole party which is anti-BJP, which is sort of heartbroken because Article 370 has been taken away. So, waves, they need a certain set of favorable conditions for them to actually evolve as a wave.
Right. In the past, you have faced criticism for your alignment with the BJP. The fact is that every party tries to assess the situation and follow a course that is proper for them. So it must have been in the realm of ideas that they would probably reach out to the BJP, but that is not what happened in the end. They clearly and openly uh, came up with an alliance with the Congress and fought the elections in that way.
Zafar, I don't think I should be discussing. You are trying to tell me, prove that it is day outside. It is day. Now, what are you trying to prove?
Okay.
They don't take Congress. Congress is as on data liability for them, right? The photograph that you are showing was a part of, how the wave came across, But today they don't give two hoots about Congress. Forget about that. Is Umar Abdullah the only opposition chief minister? Are there no other chief ministers who are in the opposition? And does everybody go with a 2 lakh rupee shawl and put it there for all BJP leaders, ministers? He's bending his back in assembly. On my right hand side was the BJP members. On the left hand side, ruling national conference. So the BJP members would get up and say, Modi ji ki wajah se sab kuch hai. And when CM's term would come, Honorable CM, he would say, thanks to Modi ji. No, I don't know. There used to be this ad when we were younger. There used to be a war between two detergent powders. And there was uski safedi, meri safedi se achi. So I don't know, wo BJP walon ka Modi ji acha hai, ya Umar Abdullah sahab ka Modi ji acha hai. It was difficult. You couldn't make out between the two of them. Who is what? And after a Waqf bill. So the point is, they had a pact. There was this thing. और अंकल आंटी ने समझा दिया होगा साहब अभी इसको जाने दो इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी है उनको मालूम पड़ेगा this is the typical nonsense that has been rehashed for the last 40 50 70 years. I'm sure you know about it,
right? And also
that's how it has been a closed shop. This is the only place in India where you will not see. In Uttar Pradesh you saw Akhilesh Yadav coming, Mulayam Singh Yadav coming, Lalu Prasad Yadav coming, Telugu Desam coming. Why is there a closed shop here? So, partly because of the uncles and aunties.
And also, Farooq Abdullah reportedly asked, why were we not taken into confidence? That's the quote. Does this imply the concern was about exclusion, not abrogation itself?
Look, I'll tell you something.
Because,
they, the whole idea here, now the nitty-gritty is different. How Dulat Saab puts it, you have to understand. Dulat Saab is a literally, fan. There is a fan and a, I don't know, super fan of Farooq Saab. He thinks the world of him, right? And Dulat Saab, I respect a lot. But with all respect to him, he lives in 1989. He refuses to come out of 1989. In fact, 1986. After that, it's totally blocked. He's there in 1986. So what he says, the whole idea is that there is a person who has been championing that why was 370 abrogated, who had no problem as long as they had shown the courtesy of making him a part of the decision, but there were channels of communication wherein they knew what's going to happen and they were okay with it. Even the line that is to be drawn in protest, I think even that was decided.
Right. I'd like to focus on the second thing, but before that, we'll play the soundbite of Dulat, where he says that Farooq Abdullah wanted to be the chief minister this time around, but because Umar Abdullah lost the Baramulla.
Zafar Sahab, I wouldn't want to go into them. वो बाप बेटे का मामला कौन क्या बनना चाहता था? How does it matter to me? I don't want to comment on that.
Right. But now, how do you see this situation developing here on? Because this is for the first time that we're seeing somebody who's writing a book and who's very close to the Abdullahs saying clearly that this is what the situation was developing at that point in time. He also indicates that somebody from Delhi sent him to meet Farooq Abdullah when he was in house detention to get a sense from him. And he was told that they were ready to release him on two conditions: that he will not speak on Pakistan and he will not criticize 370 abrogation. And that's where Farooq Abdullah said that whatever he'll say in the parliament, and he would not speak outside of parliament. So do you think that that now is perhaps a situation, now that elections are over, the government has come to power, to properly analyze the situation and to find a way forward for all political parties so that people get a sense of what is happening.
Can you please tell Dulat Sahab that we are not nursery boys?
Yeah.
What he was apparently sent to tell the great Farooq Sahab, all of us were told. But we were told, like मुझे बोला गया, अब तुम्हारे पुराने केस खोलेंगे जब तुम इलेक्शन नहीं लड़ते थे. किसी को बोला तुम्हारा ये. So, not in a decent manner, in a very rough manner, everybody was asked not to do these things. But everybody came out and did it. So there is no prize to be taken here. Everybody did it. Everybody came out and said, okay, fine. That's why we were there for 1 year. But as I said, उसकी सफेदी मेरी सफेदी से अच्छी, इनका जेल हमारे जेल से अच्छा. Their jail was a jail, our jail was nothing.
But there is a contradiction because the Gupkar Alliance was formed at the same time, and you were initially a part of the Gupkar Alliance, then you left that Gupkar Alliance. While as on the other hand, Dulat Saab says that there was a possible outreach towards the BJP or an idea that they would ally with the BJP. On the other hand, publicly there was a Gupkar Alliance that was created to struggle for the restoration of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir.
नहीं वो तो dichotomy उनकी उसमें है ना मेरी में तो नहीं है. I left Gupkar, good and अगर मैं if there was anything wrong with me, Gupkar would have survived. I am a small player. I'm not big enough that I go and Gupkar collapses. So Gupkar didn't. The intentions were not right. As you see now, there were backdoor channels going on. There was everything going on. So I think it was a very good decision. I saw through them, and came out. So what is? Baki unka hai, of course, there was a dichotomy. They have to explain that while they were parleying with BJP, what were they doing in the Gupkar Alliance?
Right. And in the end, that Gupkar Alliance doesn't exist anymore. It really didn't exist. You were the first one to leave, and it doesn't exist on the ground anymore. But what is the way forward? Sajjad Sahab, we've been seeing you have been vehemently doing the role of the opposition in the assembly. And the National Conference is in power. Do you think that there is still a scope for a collective approach as far as J&K's special status is concerned or the statehood is concerned? Because if collectively all the parties put across this point, that perhaps it would carry more weight. But what we are seeing that there seems to be an intention, but it doesn't happen like that.
Zafar, please don't say this when we see collectively, National Conference is in power.
Yeah.
By virtue of being in power, they have a chief minister, they have a cabinet, they take decisions every day. He has 15 to 20 cars in his caravan, which he really likes. So that's because he has a majority. Majority doesn't mean that you only enjoy perks of power. Majority comes with a set of responsibilities.
Right.
The responsibility to get everybody together falls on the majority. And as on date, what they are doing, even if we move a resolution for 370, they disallow it. They don't allow it. They say, "Ji, हमने ऐसा पहला किया हुआ है," which is not. You see, I use the word 370 in my resolution. 35A, 5 August 2019, reorganization bill. They use no such words in their resolution. If you put it in a software called Turnitin, which is used for plagiarism, if you put both of them together, if there is even 10% overlap, I would apologize. Because now you have softwares which will decide whether these are two same sets of academic papers or not. I requested the speaker, the honorable speaker, I requested him, sir, please put it in software. That's a different thing altogether. I'm talking constitutionally. You use the word special status. Special status could mean even union territory. Even that's a special status. It's not a normal status. Anything which is not normal is a special. It could be negatively special or positively special. Right? So you're beating about the bush. You are unambiguous. There's a very unambiguous, clear. So a party which came to power with a radical agenda. Everybody is BJP, 370, this, that, and now is not willing to accept resolution. So it falls on the onus is on the majority to do these things. But with these revelations, it's very difficult for anybody now to believe them. Right? Not that, and I know, they will come up with, they will give it a spin. The army of uncles and aunties will be there to give it a spin. So they will give it a spin and, they will walk away with murder as they have in the past.
Sajjad Lone Saab, thanks so much for joining us and for sharing your thoughts on this important subject. We'll keep tracking this story. But thanks so much for joining us, and thanks to our viewers for watching the Mojo Story.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.